don't walk, you don't try. It's supposed to be try. Kill up, come, you come, person with a man. The last of free, so far, so good. Come me, Bajo, let me see you. Go, lo, let me see you. Go, lo, go. Let me go. Let me see you. Go, lo, let me see you.
Hi guys, welcome back to Mine's Space. My name is Mine and I'm a baker, international student and YouTuber based in Canada, and I am so glad to be back on your screens. In today's video, I'm talking about my admission process, visa processing, and how I started my accommodation before getting into Canada. And I'll also be answering a few questions I got from my last two videos I dropped on my channel. Please stay tuned and do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Living life every day, late at night.
I'm going to start. Firstly, I want to say everything I'm going to talk about in this video is majorly my experience. So I wouldn't want people to say because Mina said it has to be this way. Please, this is from my experience. Everybody's different. Everybody's going to have different experiences in every stage of whatever process you want to go into in order for you to come to Canada. If you want to come to Canada, there are different experiences. We are all different human beings, so it's not going to be the same experience I had that you're going to have in whatever stage you are. So do not be scared. If you saw on my comment section that I had to wait 9 months for my visa processing, there was a story behind that, and I'll let you guys know along the line. So without talking too much, I started this whole Canada thing I think in 2018. Initially I wanted, something happened, like the whole process already started, time to go for medicals, and agent like scattered everything. So I had to start afresh, and I had to do like school, and I applied to the University of Manitoba, which is my current university, and I did the application myself. I didn't have to take any IELTS or any other foreign exam. I used just my WAEC result because I mean it's an undergraduate degree, so I don't think you have to like offer so many things. I don't know about other schools, but University of Manitoba, with your WAEC results you're good. As long as you have a good WAEC result, with your WAEC results you are very fine. So I applied in March, sometime in March, and I got my admission I think the first week of April. I can't remember clearly, but it wasn't too long. It wasn't up to a month, but you have to pay your application fee. At that time, my application fee was about $100, which was like about I think 30 something thousand naira then. Back then, I don't know how much that's going to be now. I think it's like 45,000 naira, like 100 Canadian dollars. I think it should be like 45,000 naira or 47,000 naira right now. I don't know, I can't remember. So fast forward to, like I said, I used just my WAEC result, so the whole application process wasn't too complicating. It's very easy. You can just go online. Most people like to use agents, but you can actually just go online and do it yourself if you want to, or if you want to use an agent, it's also fine. So fast forward to I didn't start my visa application up until June, because at that time I had a lot of things going on for me, and I had to convince my parents that I needed to go outside the country because it was something that they were against. So I had to take some time to actually like convince them that okay, this is what I want for myself and all of that. And yeah, March 2020 was when COVID hit us, and I don't know if you guys could remember clearly, but in Nigeria I think it was the second week or the third week, I can't remember clearly, but it was this period we had started our first lockdown in Port Harcourt. And it actually like after JAMB, that was when the first lockdown in Port Harcourt started, and it affected me for a bit because it was difficult for me to get my WAEC card from my school because of the lockdown. So I didn't send my WAEC card on time to University of Manitoba, but as soon as I was able to get my WAEC card and I sent it to my school, I got my admission in less than a week. So I didn't start my visa processing up until June, and I submitted everything. I used an agent because I didn't want to complicate issues for myself. I didn't want to put too much burden on myself. I didn't want to do that work. I didn't have the time to do that work. I just wanted to give it to someone else, give it to someone, and I know that it's sorted. So I did my visa application was given to someone like I mentioned earlier, and she started the whole process for me. I submitted the necessary documents. The documents I submitted, statement of intent, my police record check. I think there's some police check, something like that. My international passport biodata page, of course, and just your date of birth, all of that information. It's on the internet. You could check it out on the internet. You don't need to ask too much questions. If you need for these questions for documents required for visa application, they are just there on the internet. You could check it out on the internet and get more information for yourself. And then after that, lockdown hit. Of course, lockdown affected everybody. So my application officer, or the person who was processing my visa, or let me say my agent, of course, was also affected by the lockdown. So she couldn't start any process up until lockdown was back, like lockdown was off, and then we had to like continue the process from where we stopped. Sorry. Lockdown drama, I mean the on and off of offices opening and shutting down because of the lockdown and everything that was going on at that time. Another one that came was NSAS. For those of you who are in Nigeria, you would understand what I'm saying concerning the NSAS. NSAS was more like a protest to end a particular group of men in uniform who used to like harass the youth and all of that. So NSAS protest started sometime in October, and that was when my medicals were booked for. So my medicals were booked for the 6th of October, sorry, the 7th of October, but I was in PH, and of course I have to do my medicals in Lagos because there's no center to do medicals for visa in Port Harcourt. So I had to leave Port Harcourt on the 6th of October, and I went to Lagos on the 7th of October to do my medicals and my biometrics because they were booked for the same day. Medicals in the morning and biometrics later in the day. And then I got back to Port Harcourt the next day, which was on the 8th of October. And 9th of October, NSAS protest started. My agent's office locked again because of the whole, it was in that area, everything was a bit serious. So people weren't allowed to do anything because they were protecting their lives and all of that. But after that, I feel like it didn't take a lot of time for my results to come out, and my results were uploaded immediately as soon as it came out. Though I wasn't following the process step by step because I felt I was in safe hands with my agent, and my agent was, I didn't feel like I had any need to always go and check my portal. I didn't have access to my portal. She did. My agent had access to my portal, so like everything that was, all the messages, everything from the visa office, it was getting to her and not me. The whole medicals, biometrics submission and result release and submission, I waited for about, I can't really count the number of months now, but my passport request came in March, on the 2nd of March to be precise, and I sent in my passport to Lagos on the 4th of March. As soon as my passport request came in, I booked my flight even before my passport got back. Yes, I'm going to get into my flights and accommodation very soon, but let me just like end this whole visa process with this. My passport came after like a month. I really don't know why, but most people say when you send your passport to Lagos, it takes some time because of the crowd applying in Lagos. But in Abuja, it's a lot faster because of the whole, I really don't know, I think because it's the capital of Nigeria and all of that. I don't know, but maybe you should check on the internet to understand this better. But I sent mine to Lagos because I started the whole process in Lagos. It's not at the point of passport request. I will now send it to Abuja. No, and my agent also advised that I send it to Lagos since that's where she is and that's where the whole process started. Let's just finish it there. No matter how long it's going to take, at least one day it's definitely going to come. And I was not in a hurry because I was taking online lectures. So I know along the line some of you may have asked, were you not tired of waiting and all of that? Apparently I wasn't thinking about the whole visa process because I had school to distract me. I was taking my lectures online, so it wasn't much of a pressure because even in Manitoba here, students were at home taking lectures online. No one was doing in-person classes because of the COVID, so it didn't feel different doing it from Nigeria. So I feel I had that to distract me. So I wasn't even thinking about the visa process and everything. I didn't start counting the visa process until my passport request came out. I was like, okay, let me actually calculate how long I waited for this to come. And then I found out that it was, okay, about 9 months. But yeah, school was there to distract me, so I didn't put my mind too much on it. That's one thing I also say. If you're doing the whole visa process, I would advise you look for anything that can distract you because it can be very frustrating. I'm not here to discourage you, but people, like I said earlier, people have different experiences. Some people do not even wait up to 2 months before they get their passport request. Yes, there are some people that even wait for like 6 months before they get a passport request. I know someone who waited for like 11 months, almost a year, before getting passport requests. So it differs with people and it differs with experiences, and it's also, I feel like it's also based on the, I don't know, but yeah. So just look for something to take your mind off the whole application. If it means you learning a skill, working, just do something to take your mind off it so you don't get frustrated trying to wait or get angry and pour your anger on people. It's not going to be nice. So for my flight, like I said, I booked it as soon as I got my passport request, my passport request, and I used British Airways. Now, one thing I would say to anybody who is using any airline, always check the requirements for your airline, depending on the situation or circumstances around the time you're traveling or anything of that sort. Okay, so for my British Airways flight, I booked my flights a month. I booked my flight in March for June of 2021 because that was the earliest I could find in June. So for my flight, that was during COVID period, so you have to like check the requirements. I had to check if I had to like take a COVID test before getting on the plane, or getting vaccinated before getting on the plane and all of that. And I found out that I had to take a COVID test before getting on the plane, which was more like a requirement even when you get to Canada. So I took my COVID test a day before my flight. Yeah, a day before my flight in a COVID test center in Port Harcourt, in GRA side of Port Harcourt. I can't remember the name now, but if you check on Google, you're going to see it. I don't know if that's going to be necessary now because I feel like some regulations have been dropped down and times are changing. Some information has been updated on the website, so I really don't know if you're going to require all of that when you're traveling, but just in case. So, and also I checked my box requirements. That is very important before, so you know whether you're going to spend money at the airport for excess luggage. Now, I had 3 luggages, like a set, biggest, and the one in the middle was for all my food stuff, African food stuff, Nigerian food stuff, crayfish, ogbono, egusi, all those things, that we used to cook. You get me? Like that, it's going to be like difficult to get in Canada. Not too difficult, but I mean, it's going to last you for some time. It's important to bring some of those here. Don't bring palm oil. Don't, because if your clothes get stained, my dear. So I carried some food stuff and then Milo and milk and like cereal that was going to last me for like maybe like the 2 weeks I was going to be on quarantine. But the food stuff, they were going to last me for like 6 months, a year, if not. And then my main box, which was the big one, had my clothes and some of my school books, and then the small one was for remnants from the 2 boxes. You get me? I didn't pack too much because I didn't want to pay for excess luggage. Other flights, but for British Airways, my flights, you're supposed to check in 24 hours before your flight, and my flight was for 11 p.m. so I was supposed to check in the day before my flight at 11 p.m. the day before my flight. Yeah, so when I checked in, I had already packed 4 boxes. The plan was, because my food stuff apparently got into 2 boxes because I carried Poppy orange. I mean, Poppy orange is one drink that is very important to me. It was even more important to me than so many other things in my boxes. I got like a full carton of poppy orange in my box. And then I get to the website and I'm checking in and I'm seeing that I'm only allowed to carry one hand luggage, 3 boxes, all I think 70 something kg. I can't remember. But I went, so I had to, in the morning when I woke up, I had to like make some changes in my boxes, and I ended up going to the airport with 3 boxes and my hand luggage. Like you would see in my video, the first and second videos I dropped on my channel. So after the whole process, I got to Port Harcourt airport and then check in. I got there and they're saying one of the boxes was overweight, so I had to get a Ghana must go in the airport. I don't know if you guys saw that Ghana must go somewhere in the video, but I think it was in the second video. It should be somewhere around. I had to get a Ghana must go to put some of the stuff that was in my box in the Ghana must go. And then I went to the boarding gate. Funny thing happened. I went to the boarding gate and they were checking in my hand luggage, and they found a body spray in my bag and they were like, they're gonna trash it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't trash that, because I need it. I actually put it in my bag because my flight to Canada was going to be like, I knew I was going to stay in the Heathrow airport for like a really, really long time. So I needed those things in my bag, and then you're telling me that you're going to trash it in dry airports. So take it back to my box, and then only for her to get there and she found out that one of my boxes were dropped. Imagine, like they'll actually drop your box and not even tell you that you dropped your box. They dropped your box. Now, this is one thing you should note. If you're traveling from Nigeria, make sure it's not that as they've put your boxes, you feel that okay, make sure that the boxes have actually gone through before you go to your boarding gate. That was one mistake we made. We saw that yes, they had put the boxes on the machine, but we didn't know whether the boxes had all gone through before we went to the boarding gate. And this is how I'd have gotten to Lagos and I'll be looking confused, looking for my third box. Meanwhile, someone had dropped my box and they did not announce that a box had been dropped. Blah 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 blah. They couldn't even say that. So my mom went there and found out that one of my boxes were dropped. Why? Because it was apparently, I don't even understand what they were saying, but it was just something that did not make sense. Anyways, without making too much noise. So yeah, before all of the going to the airport and all of that, there's an app you're supposed to download when you're coming to Canada. It's called ArriveCan. And ArriveCan requires you to like show them where you're going to do your quarantine and the date you're coming into Canada and all of that information. You're required to fill that information 3 days before your before your flight to Canada rather. I don't know if that app is still required to travel, but the internet is your friend, so you should always use it to ask questions and get information for yourself, like I always say. So you can find out if that is still being used. I'm not sure because I have long passed that process, so like I don't even go through all of that again, but the internet is always there to answer your questions. So yeah, I used ArriveCan to put where I was going to do my quarantine and my date of the flight and the time I was going to arrive in Canada. So I got to Lagos. Apparently, the way my flight was booked, my flight to Port Harcourt was in the morning, and then my flight to the UK was in the evening. Got to Lagos and Lagos International Airport, or Muritala Muhammad International Airport. I feel like it has to be the most exhausting airport I have ever been to. That airport, I walked. When you enter, you're going to do some checking and all of that, and then I walked before, and then all the money I had on me, I finished it before I got to the boarding gate. Yes.
You get it?
Okay.
If you don't get it, forget about it.
Those that are in Nigeria are going to understand. All the naira I had on me, I finished it before I got to the boarding gate. Anyways, so it was time for my flight to the UK, and my flight was like I had a really nice experience with British Airways. I got to London. My luggages were still like intact. Even though I didn't see them till I got to Canada, but I knew that they were gonna be like intact. No issues, nothing of that sort. I had a very peaceful sleep, even though the food that British Airways gave me, I don't know which human being they were expecting to eat it, because it wasn't nice to me at all. I just couldn't eat it. There was no way. I tasted it and it wasn't nice at all. But I had like some snacks and I had my pop earring, so I took it like when I got to the airport. And then I also had some pounds on me because I knew I was going to the UK. That's true. Whatever airport you're going to, make sure you're able to convert like money, or whatever country that is your stopover country. Make sure that you have like currency, or you have money to convert to that currency, so you can get something to eat at the airport, because most time your flight hours can be very very long. Like mine, I arrived UK 5 a.m. and I stayed in the airport till 5 p.m. Yes, that was smooth as well. That one I slept all through the flight until I got to Canada. And then as soon as I arrived, I went to immigration. Now this is the part where so many people are scared. I really don't know why you're scared of getting to Canada immigration point, but there's nothing, trust me, there's nothing to be scared of. As long as you have your complete documents and you have everything that is required of you, don't be afraid. They're not going to bite you. They are human beings like you, and they are people that you could actually communicate with. So I got to the immigration, and the only question they asked me was to show them my proof of fund, which I used in my visa application, and to also, since I had started my lectures, I needed to show them. The lady asked for my grades, which I showed her, and she was like, okay, that's fine, and she gave me my study permit, and that was it. See, nothing too serious, just my proof of fund and my grades. That was it. Some people, they don't even ask for grades. Some people, they don't even ask for anything. They just ask you, how are you, how was your flight, bam, they've given you a study permit. So like I say, it differs with everybody. It's not the same case. So when you hear someone say, oh, they asked me for this, they asked me for this, don't be scared. Your case can be very very different. Like mine, I never expected that they would ask me for my grades, but I'm grateful that my grades were really good. So when I showed the lady, she was like, oh, that's good, and then she gave me my study permit. So after getting the study permit, you go to like the part where you before the immigration office. They're like machines, they're like ATM machines, where you have to like put in the foodstuff you brought, the items you brought into Canada, the money you brought into Canada, and also the number of days you're going to be spending in Canada. So like I said, you're going to put everything. You have to put everything. If you brought a goosey, put I brought a goosey. If you brought ogbono, put it there. If you brought banga, put it there. If you brought dry fish, put it. Anything. Money, put the amount of money you brought there, and all of that, and print it out and take it to the immigration officer, and that's when they're going to see you before they give you your study permit. So after getting my study permit, I went to take my boxes, and it was time for me to do my COVID test, which you do when you arrive in Canada. And that didn't take too long. It was like a very very short process. The line wasn't too long, so you have to like scan there's this code you scan to like have a profile with them, and then you do your COVID test, and then you get a self test kit given to you, and it was free. Yeah, totally free, so you don't have to pay for all of that. COVID test and getting my self test kit, my shuttle came from the hotel. Now I moved into Canada at the time where they had this 3 days compulsory quarantine in designated hotels, and the hotel that was booked for me was not too far from the hotel. So the shuttle arrived right in front of the door I was coming out from, and then got on the shuttle and went to my hotel. And I'm sure you guys saw the 3 days quarantine, how I was just vibing and just enjoying life in that hotel for 3 days. Yes, and then I completed the rest of my quarantine in my accommodation, which I am going to be telling you how I got my accommodation and how I found someone to stay with. So for accommodation, I got my accommodation myself. I didn't use an agent to do anything accommodation. I got my accommodation myself. Accommodations are very very easy to find. Kijiji is your best bet for getting accommodations. but be careful of scammers because there are lots of scammers on Kijiji. You heard me right. There are so many scammers on Kijiji, but Kijiji is your best bet for apartments, houses, any type of place you want to live in any province of your choice. It's your best bet to get apartments or places to stay, Airbnbs, anything, anywhere to stay in Canada. So I actually did not use Kijiji because I knew that the apartment I'm staying is where I have always wanted to stay. So I just went straight to their website because it's owned by it's an apartment, so it's owned by like property managers and all of that. So I went to their website and I like booked and I filled the form because for all these apartments, most times you can't just call them directly and say, look, I want to book an apartment with you guys. You have to like fill a form and then send in some documents like proof of fund if you have some. Like for this, I was required to send my proof of fund and my ID card, my passport biodata page, and some other things, and then they will access your form and see, okay, it's called an application. You have to put in an application for the apartment, and then if they're okay with your information, they will let you rent the place. And yeah, that was how I found my apartment. Now for the housemates, roommates, there are also sites you could actually get roommates from. I don't remember some of the sites, but I'll put them down in the video for you to see if I'm able to like get some of the sites that are required for housemates. But yeah, I got my roommate through Snapchat, through like a mutual friend. I was actually looking for someone to, because I was in a hurry to come to like to fill in information that I had gotten a place to stay for the rest of my quarantine. I had to just put up with this person apparently that I found on Snapchat through a mutual friend. So that was how my accommodation was sorted out and my housemates was also sorted out. So like I said, Kijiji is your best bet for accommodation and anything that you actually want to look for in Canada, but be careful of scammers. Do not pay for anything until you actually see it in person. And if you want to meet people from Kijiji, meet them in public places. That's just like an extra advice for you. Now it's time to answer your questions. If I did not answer your questions directly in any of these sections I have discussed, now it's time to answer your questions directly. So stay tuned. Okay, so this is the part of the video where I answer all the questions I got from the last two videos I dropped on my channel. I hope I'm able to like answer all the questions to your satisfaction, and yeah, I just hope I'm able to try. So the first question says, which airline did you use and how many stopovers? Like I mentioned in the video, I used British Airways and I had one stopover, which was in the UK, Heathrow Airport. And then when I got to Toronto, I had to use WestJet. Like after my 3 days quarantine, I had to use WestJet from Toronto, Ontario to Winnipeg, Manitoba. How many weeks before your passport got to you? It was almost a month before my passport got to me. Yeah. How long was the PPR after medicals? I think 5 or 6 months. I really can't like remember now, but my medical was in October and my PPR came in March. So, do you need to be fully vaccinated before you can travel to Canada? This question, to be honest, I do not know, because as at the time I traveled, there was nothing like that at that time. And you know, times change and policies change, different rules come in and all of that. So you should actually check the internet to get updated on that question. How many boxes did you carry and were they overweight? Okay, so this is a story I forgot to tell like along the line in the video. So I actually had 3 boxes in Port Harcourt. One of them was overweight. But when I got to Lagos, they told me that that box that was overweight was actually underweight. So I don't even know what was wrong with Nigerian skills. But apparently none of my boxes were overweight. I tried as much as possible to like go with it because I didn't want to like be taking out things at the airport and just disorganizing myself. So you should, like I said, check your flight requirements and know how many kg you're supposed to have in every box and all of that, and also weigh your boxes before you get to the airport. Did you go for an undergrad program? Yes, I did. Actually doing, this is my first degree, so it's an undergraduate program. Someone said, I thought you don't have to quarantine anymore. And could you also say the questions asked by the immigration officer? Like I said earlier, policies change, times are changing, and I came during the time when lockdown, like people were just coming out, places were just opening up in Winnipeg. So I don't know right now if quarantine is required or if vaccine can be in place of quarantine and all of that. And also for the questions asked by my immigration officer, I said it in the video, but I'm just going to say it again. The lady just asked for my proof of fund and my grades in school, and that was it. Nothing. And how are you? Normal question. Number 10, did you use an agent? Did they help sort out your accommodation? And for just the visa processing, but not for the school application or at my admission. And I did use an agent for accommodation as well. I did my application, school admission, and accommodation myself, but the visa processing was done by an agent. Did you do upfront medicals? Yes, I did upfront medicals because that was what the agent felt was, I don't know. Is it possible to carry my precious very big teddy bear with me? Okay, so for this question, I really don't know because I can't. I don't work in the airport or on the plane, so I wouldn't know. But I feel like you could carry it as a hand luggage and then just carry it with you, since it's very precious to you. But I mean, they're like teddy bears sold here, but I get it. I understand. Maybe it was given to you by someone very special and all of that. So maybe if you try carrying it to the domestic airports you're going to leave from, and if they don't let you, maybe. But if they do, sure you could carry it. How long did your visa processing take? My visa processing took 9 months, thereabout. Not too long, I guess. Maybe. But it took 9 months, which was like a kind of long wait actually. My Instagram handle, I'm going to be dropping my Instagram handle somewhere on the screen. So if you want to reach out to me, you could actually just make sure you follow before you send a message. That's the only way I'm going to like see a message and actually reply you. So I'm going to drop my Instagram handle somewhere on the screen so you guys can reach out to me and ask me questions. Questions being answered. We have finally come to the end of this long awaited video. I hope you enjoyed every bit of this video. Please, if you did, don't be stingy. I beg you, do not be, it's not good. Don't be stingy. Share this video with your friends and family and let me see what they say about it. Make sure to tell them to comment, share, and also subscribe. If you watching you have not subscribed, please do so, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.